Good morning, beloveds. It's a hot one out there, and I have a title that is problematical, so I don't. If you've been watching these for a while, you know that I try and gender neutral things. And I try and gender neutral things for a couple of reasons. One, as a woman, I get tired of saying he and him all the time, especially in reference to God. If God made us in God's image, then God's image includes both. So I get tired of it. So I do it. And I also, because I have friends in the LGBTQ spectrum, including transgender, I want to end non-binary, so I want to be inclusive. Well, our title today is, it is from 1913. So, there's that. Him that filleth all in all. So I changed it to it that filleth all in all, but I probably should have said spirit that filleth all in all. So I may go change the title. Our author is Nora Holm from the Runner's Bible, and like I said, it's 1913. I've even seen contemporary writers still using and I'm just like, no. I want to be inclusive. I want to include everybody. We were all made in God's image. So like I said, it's August 3rd. I think I would like the title to be Spirit that Filleth All in All. She starts with a quote, "I will pour out of my spirit upon all flesh," and that is from Ezekiel 37:14. You know I'm a big believer. Go read it in context. Read a few lines before, read a few lines after. Don't take the Bible out of context. People have done terrible things by taking Bible quotes out of context. All right. It has always been upon you, around you, and through you. From it you have drawn through, though unconsciously, all the power that you have used in your senses, your intellect, in every way. But your eyes have been closed, and you have not seen the greater possibilities. In the midst of plenty, enough for every need and every aim, you have not had sufficient understanding to open your eyes and take possession. Finally, something awakens you. It is often sorrow. And then you see the truth that it is, in which you live, move, and have your being, the seat of all power, the very present help, the inexhaustible treasury of good. Then you hasten to put yourself in harmony with it by right thinking, humility, and faith. So, Nora Holm from the Runner's Bible in 1913. All right, so there is a story about fish and how fish got together and they talk about this magical thing called water. But they have no concept of water. Why don't they have any concept of water? Because it is what they live in. So they breathe water. They live and move and have their being in water, So they have no concept of water because it is the very, And so that is kind of and so it's the best way I've seen described what Nona's talking about. The power that we use to do literally everything. We have no concept of it. And then she says it's often sorrow that brings it to, and so I think sometimes occasionally it's great joy too. So it's not always sorrow, but Nona's right. Often it's sorrow that brings us to the realization of just how powerful we are. But just like the fish living in the water, it's all around us. It is in us. It is through us. It is part of what we are. So we are unconscious of it. We are unaware of it until something brings it to our attention. And once that brings it to our attention, then we kind of sit back and we go, I think I can make better use of this. I can make better use of it. And that's what she says right there at the end. It's like, then you hasten to put yourself in harmony with it by right thinking, humility, and faith. Once we are aware of the source of our own being, once we are aware of the power that flows through us, that can meet every need, then we do everything in our power to be in alignment with it, to be in harmony with it, to recognize it's like, where do we go to get fed? You can go to great restaurants all the time and eat wonderful food all the time, but if you are hungry for spiritual things, those restaurants are never going to feed you. You know, it's becoming aware. It's becoming aware. And then where do you go to get spiritually fed? And that's one of those questions. Where do you go to get spiritually fed? And there are so many places that you can go to get spiritually fed that look nothing like church. Reverend Jesse's been doing the series on Emerson, and Emerson was a believer in, if you want to see God, go to nature, you know? And I had one student one time who, she just couldn't do the meditation thing. She tried, but what she was trying to do was to sit cross-legged on a pillow, staring at the wall or the back of your eyelids. You know, you ask me to do that, I'm gonna fall asleep. So, and then one day she went on this hike and I don't remember where it was in the hike, but and that's where she went, oh, that's what meditation is supposed to feel like. So, that's why I said it doesn't have to be great sorrow. It can also be great joy that brings you to the source of your own being. So where do you go to be spiritually fed? Well, there's a whole lot of us who find when we go out into nature that we are fed in ways that we just don't get in this busy material world. For me, one of the ways that feeds me spiritual is music. Good, amazing music that tells me a story. And it can be a heartbreaking story or it can be a wonderful story. I'm a big believer in lyrics. I love lyrics. And so and I run the gamut when it comes to artists. Like, I'll listen to just about anything. If you tell me a good story, I do admit that I like drums and bass guitars though. So, I definitely fall into the rock chick. So that is one of the ways that I go and feed my soul. This is another way that I go and feed my soul. Now, the good news is that I do have a very healthy community where I go to also be spiritually fed. So that's how we do it. It's like we can keep doing all of the material things until we recognize that what we are trying to feed is our spirit. And so that's what Nona's talking about. Once we recognize that what we are seeking is spiritual, and that has always been there, we just haven't found the key to feeding it ourselves, then everything kind of shifts. And when you learn who you are, which is what she's talking about here, then you start to use the power that you are made from more consciously. And part of that is letting go of who you've been told you are and what you've been told about how you were made. It has always been upon you, around you, and through you. From it you have drawn, though unconsciously, all the power that you have used in your senses, your intellect, in every way. But your eyes have been closed and you have not seen the greater possibilities. Okay? We move through this world unconscious. And there are a lot of systems in place, including a number of major religions, that benefit from us walking through this world with our eyes half closed. If they told us how powerful we really were, they would lose control over us. Know who you are. Know who you're sourced from. And then draw on that power. And go and feed your soul. And that looks like a healthy spiritual community. But it also looks like going for hikes in nature. It also looks like reading books, and it also looks like listening to great music. And frequently, when I say reading great books and listening to music, it has nothing to do with church. Okay? You can feed your soul in amazing ways. You can come into alignment with who you are in amazing ways that have nothing to do with a church. So, but I do advocate a good, healthy spiritual community. And if your church provides that, more power to you. So, all right. Then you hasten to put yourself in harmony with it by right thinking, humility, and faith. And that's what I'm talking about, feeding your soul. So, when that thing awakens within you, when you see the water, if I'm going to go back to my fish metaphor, when you become aware of the water in which you live and move and have your being, it may be a small shift. But in the long run, you're going to look back and see the giant leap that you made. So, mission for today. I just kind of got off track today. I hope I didn't Nora. I'm getting Nora confused with Nona L. Brooks. Nora, I hope I did Nora justice. So, well, you have not seen the possibility. In the midst of plenty, enough for every aim and every need. You have not had sufficient. Okay, the mission today, should we choose to accept it? There's the line. You have not had sufficient understanding to open your eyes and take possession. So, the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to open our eyes and take possession. What are we taking possession of? The truth of our being. The source of our power. The source of our power is our innate connection to God. Our innate connection to spirit. The recognition that God is all there is. That the power that animates us is that God power. I use the term divine spark. I also occasionally use the term divine splinter. Because we are God in motion. We are spirit in action. We are made by God, of God, for God. At no time will we ever understand the fullness of the being that is God, because it's not ours to know. But when we know the fullness of our being, then we understand the spark of God that's within us. And that's all we have to know. The spark of God within us. And the spark of God within us is all that we are. But it's just a tiny spark of what God is. So then we get to look around at the other beings. And I'm not talking just the two-leggeds. Every living being is the spark of God. That's the possibility that we want to grasp. It's all God. So feed your soul. Open your eyes and grasp the possibility. And you do that by knowing who you are, by knowing the truth of your being. Explore the truth of your being and making regular trips to the source of your own being, which is God. All right? Okay. Some days I'm a little confused. Don't have my thoughts in order. But if you are the fish in water, become aware of the water. That's the mission. Every day. Every day. All right, beloveds. I need to move on into the process of my day. So I'm going to remind you the other thing that I suggest every day, which is the spiritual practice of self-care. It's the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. For no other reason than you deserve your own love, your own kindness, your own compassion. I'm encouraging you to create a habit every day, responding lovingly and kindly and compassionately to everything that happens in your life. When you respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately to yourself, when you treat yourself lovingly, kindly, and compassionately, you teach other people how to treat you. You know, you draw that line in the sand and say, this is how I treat you. This is how I treat me. This is how I will be treated. Not how I expect to be treated, but how I will be treated. Lovingly, kindly, and compassionately. All right? You deserve that. You deserve that. When we come into alignment with the source of our own being, that is something that we learn. We deserve love, we deserve kindness, we deserve compassion, and it starts at home with ourselves. Okay, and what it looks like is taking a deep breath before we speak. It looks like taking a walk. It looks like taking a nap. It looks like taking a break. It looks like saying yes to something that pushes us a little out of our comfort zone. It looks like saying no to something that just really drains us. It also looks like eating dessert first, which is my metaphor for celebrate your life. Don't save the good stuff. We may only walk this way once. We don't know. So celebrate your life now. Do the fun things and the good things now. Eat the good food. Wear the nice clothes. Burn the good candles. Write in the nice notebooks. If anybody has ADHD, they know what I'm talking about. Use the good china and dishware and stemware and all that, silverware. Don't save it for a special occasion. Your life is a special occasion. And since we're talking about self-care, I also want to remind you that one of the qualities of God, which therefore is one of the qualities of you, is joy. No matter what is going on in the world, no matter what is going on in your life, you deserve joy. Please make room for it. That's the other thing I mean when I say eat dessert first. I'm a big believer that in the long run, all things can be solved with chocolate. It may start with chocolate, it may end with chocolate, but somewhere in there, chocolate will help. I also had a doctor who said chocolate is a health food, so And, if you look at science. So, all right. Self-care. The rest of the suggestions are easy. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like. Please drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. Your brain and your body work better when you are well hydrated. Your skin also looks much better when it's well hydrated. And we are still in the triple digits right now. Please hydrate, take breaks, cool off. And then get that early in your day bright light. What I'm talking about a circadian rhythm. If you want to look up a circadian rhythm, it starts with a C. You get that early in your day, and I'm talking 5 to 10 minutes of bright light on your face. Did I say 5 to 10 minutes? 5 to 10 minutes. And it's between 7 and 9 in the morning. But if you get up before the sun, artificial light will count too. You will have more energy during the day. You'll have more energy during the day. You'll sleep better at night. You'll just in general feel better. So try it. It's science. You can look it up. And then as always, I've talked about it a little bit about feeding your soul today. Ernest Holmes has a quote: "Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now." If it is all God, and Nora is reminding us, we are surrounded by God all the time. If it is all God, then we live in heaven right here, right now, already. It is up to us to open our eyes and see the possibilities. To see that heaven is a mindset. It is a state of consciousness. Once you learn that, as she said, once you learn that, you work to come into alignment, and you work with faith, and you work with humility and align, harmony. That's what you want. You want that heavenly mindset, that heavenly consciousness, because then heaven ceases to be a place you have to get to and can become any place you are. And that, my friends, that's a superpower. We come pre-installed with the Christ consciousness. Okay? I talk about it like software. You do a factory reset. We come pre-installed with the Christ consciousness. If we do a factory reset and we let go of all of the nonsense that the material world has taught us and go back to, the basics, that's what the Christ consciousness is. And to activate that, the password is love. Then we see that heaven is everywhere. And if we want to create a world that works for everyone, we start with ourselves. We start with that Christ consciousness. We start with that heavenly mindset. And then when we meet people who need a little extra love, kindness, and compassion, we have plenty to share because we're plugged into the infinite source. we can draw people into our peace rather than being sucked into their storm. All right. I'm all serious today. Okay. And you can always take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. Gratitude will get you absolutely everywhere. Try it. You don't have to trust me. Try it. When you are grateful for the little things, the middling things, the big things, your life is just better. Okay. All right. Moving on to the social media, we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Ryan on the social medias that I'm on. I encourage you to check them out, especially the YouTube channels. I do a lot of work on the YouTube channels, so I'm very proud of them. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That will get you the constant contact email. It is done by a real person. You generally get about one a month or one a week. That's it. You're not going to be overwhelmed. And the hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it'll take you right to the information or to the person that'll help you get it. All right. So I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a loving day, a kindness day, a compassionate day, a opening your eyes day, a consistent day, a consciousness day, a recognizing the water day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action, or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling, in whom God is well pleased and well represented. So know the truth of your being. Explore the truth of your being. Revel in the truth of your being. All right. All right. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.